What's up, y'all? We back again with another podcast. This is Decoding Tom Swift. I am your co-host, Rhayne Coleman, and I have with me today, like I will have for the foreseeable future. Please let these folks know what wonderful, amazing co-host I have with me on this show.
Look, I'm looking for who is he talking about? But this is M. Haynes, aka Loose to the Deuce, here to talk about the best. Because I'm always
Yes.
ready for the best.
Yes. My God, my God. All right, y'all. So we are discussing Tom Swift episode 2. Episode 2 is titled And the 4B Curl. Tom is forced into an awkward situation when he discovers that an important piece of the mission is on the grounds of a family's frenemies estate. The situation then reveals a dark secret from Tom's past. What's up? General thoughts, like with that. How we feel about that? That
The Darby's is a mess, first and foremost. The Darby's is a mess. But
yes,
I'm here
yes, yes.
for it
They
because it rings true.
are.
Um, yeah.
No. You are not alone with that. The Darbies, I absolutely enjoyed. I enjoyed the fucked upness that came with being a frenemy.
Mhm.
Um, I loved it. I loved the only person to me who wasn't as convincing, no shade, was the mom. I was like, give
But
me
she
a
also
little
didn't do
bit.
like that.
That's what I'm saying. She didn't give what it was supposed to have gave. Like if you shady, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I'm with you
Chris
though.
and Dad was on their head. Like it was
Yeah, nah.
like,
Her and look, you know what it made me think about? And
mm,
this is why I tweeted out when we was live tweeting. Like I was like,
yeah.
this is classic black bougie shade. It made me
Hmm.
think about that episode of The Fresh Prince where Ashley had that bully and the parents came in. And
Yes.
what I wanted from their mama was there's a line where I don't remember what the dad says. He's like diagnosed her or something.
Hmm.
And Aunt Viv is like, excuse me, and the wife comes in like, oh, too many big words.
Yeah. Yes.
Like that's
Yes.
what I needed. That's what I
Oh.
needed.
Oh, it was. I mean, it was still good. I enjoyed this scene, but the Darbies. Oh, some black villains. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, boy.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
excited for. All in all, I did like this episode. For me, I don't know that I could say it was better than the first or worse. Like I don't know that I've processed it enough to like rank them that way. I think there were
Mhm.
things that I may have liked a little bit better in this one, but overall, I do think this was a like if this was the episode you came in on, I think it would still pique your interest, even if you didn't watch the pilot. Because it's like,
Mhm.
whoa, what's going on? Like there are a lot of things, a lot of shade, a lot of beautiful gowns, a lot of mess. So I did. I like that. I like that.
Mhm.
Um,
Um,
how? Go ahead, please.
I like this one a lot more than the first one.
Okay. Is there
Um,
any particular reason why?
Yeah, it goes back to what I said when we talked about the first one. Like I feel like they tried to do a whole lot in the first one,
Mm-hmm.
and I get it, to set the tone. I understand, but yeah, there was a whole lot going on. Whereas this one felt a lot more like streamlined. Like
Mm-hmm.
there was a thing that they were trying to do, and the episode was about doing that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, and we'll get to it, but I like Tom a lot more in this one.
Okay.
I
Okay.
understand why, because he's grieving and so on and so forth in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like this one. I like this one a lot.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Listeners, y'all let us know between the first two episodes which one you feeling more. Because I haven't seen a whole lot of conversation about which one maybe liked more, but I have seen some folks saying like, oh yeah, this was a little bit better. But I haven't seen like a lot of discourse about it. But yeah, let us know which one is better for you. Let's see. So Tom and Lorraine. How are we feeling about them now? Like watching the events of episode one and then going into this second episode where it's still the grief from Barton being quote unquote dead is still there. How do you feel about their relationship?
Mm, I don't think there's too much that has changed for real, for real. Um, but you saying that makes me think like, because he's keeping this from his mama. I just realized that.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not telling his mama that his dad is still alive. Um, I think that's gonna cause some tension, some friction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I don't think
Yeah.
that we got there necessarily yet. Like
Mm-hmm.
because he's still they're still on that real friendly type. It's weird to say because it's mom, but they're
Yeah.
they're like on that joking type thing because he was dragging the people and she was laughing. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything like negative or really too much more positive with them. It's just
Yeah.
like it's continuation. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm feeling the same way. I am a little concerned though with Lorraine and Tom because it seems like they value image both, but like in different ways. Like for her, the Tubman Society and keeping up appearances for everyone, not necessarily being fake, but in the presence of the Darbies and these things
Mhm.
that she wants them to do. Where he's like, image just is that's his thing. I'm handsome, I'm beautiful, I surround myself with the best. Like that's a non-factor. And so
Right.
now I can focus on being extremely focused on his things. But in the midst of them both having um these things they care about, they're clashing heads, so to speak. But it's not major. But I feel like it's these little things that are going to keep happening where they're
Uh,
finally going to have to either have a knockdown, drag out argument or so, something. I'm gonna use it to segue to the next part, but I think it's going to be an issue because of the way Lorraine is keeping this relationship with like Claire, and the way,
mhm.
like you said, Tom is keeping this news about his father under wraps, and
Mhm.
so that's a lot of
Yeah.
shit going on to have a mother-son
Yeah.
relationship when you're battling for the Game of Thrones style crown of the company, but then it's also
Yes.
like the fact that you wouldn't tell your son like, "Hey, homegirl's coming for your spot." I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just
But I feel like he,
it's just
but he know that though.
yeah. But it's one thing for me to be like, my dad went into space, Claire was left to take over, but this is still my company. It's another
Right.
thing to be like, oh, she's coming for you to the point where she came to your mom and was like, hey, I want your support in this next
Mhm.
election. Can I count on your vote? Type shit. Like, so I'm just
Okay.
like, that to me, that's to say to Tom's face, you're not mature enough, which, whatever, it is what it is. If you don't feel like he is, it's fine. But then behind his back, be like, oh, he's going to take over the company. It's like, give him that little bit of confidence. Don't, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a mom, but I feel like they might bump heads later on. I don't know.
Let's
I
see,
don't
let's see,
know.
let's see.
Um,
Um, Go ahead.
no, I was going to move to Miss Claire if you're nasty. So unless you got something else before that.
Mm-mm,
Hey,
mm-mm.
so I'm shout out to John from the John Effect podcast. He mentioned, I think on episode 1, something about Claire being possibly queer. I didn't catch it because for me, the things that I saw would have been stereotypical, and I ain't doing that to nobody. However, in the beginning of this episode, I think I even tweeted like, "Is there something going on with Lorraine and Claire?" And it was
Mm-hmm.
half-hearted, but I was also like, "Nah, something. Why are you fraternizing the way that you are? If Claire, it's gonna sound terrible, but if she's the help." I mean, that's just what it is. Like, Lorraine, you don't have any friends in your social group. And not to say you can't intermingle, but with what we got at the very end, the comment that Lorraine made me question, like, why are you even spending time with Claire? And then Claire, you seem like you're a little bit more interested in just the company. Like, are you trying to take Mr. Swift's spot? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I
You know
mean,
what? You know what it made me think about? Like
Mm,
it made me think about I don't know if you ever seen How to Get Away with Murder, but it made me think about like Bonnie and Annalise. Like
yeah, yeah.
Claire is out here just like tripping over herself, like trying to get to the top. And
Mm-hmm.
Lorraine's like,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
but yeah, it's like I don't know, like I never got that. I ain't going in front. That went straight past me. I didn't even see that coming.
Shoot.
So when she like when them fingers hesitated just ever so slightly across
Hey,
that woman, oh!
hey, hey, fam. She nasty. She nasty. Yeah,
I was like,
Claire
oh,
is a problem. Yeah, yeah,
like this is where we
yeah.
going. Okay, well, I'm here for the
Hmm.
ride. Let's go.
See, I knew I didn't trust her. Like, of course, she's set up to be the distrustworthy one because you want to root for Tom. But for me, I was all in her corner initially because for me, I'm like, okay, true enough, I'm Team Tom. But if the show is positioning him as someone who's immature and not taking his role as the next in line seriously, and this woman who is an outsider has all the credentials, then I'm all for her. Like, if she has to rise to the top to make him get his act together, I'm with
Mhm.
that. But
Right.
I knew even before she did that whole, I don't know what the lesbian version of Moonlight is, but when she did that move, touching on
Oh,
Lorraine's
I
lips, I
love
was like, no, 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 no. This is like single white female or like some hand that
that.
rocks the cradle. Like the actress Brittany, I love you, but Claire, I hope they break your legs. I'm gonna just say it. I hope they break your legs because I'm not with it. I'm not with it.
Let
Like
the
I was
ride, let the
so
ride.
mad at Lorraine. Like, fam, how are you so blindsided by? Okay, let me get my thoughts together. When Claire mentioned we have something at the office to help you sleep, and it's a medicine. I understand you may be feeling with this woman, but how are you not going to your son? If my husband is a genius and he got blown up in Saturn, and my son is a genius, and yes, I like Claire. She's smart enough. She's running the company, but I'm not trusting nobody to put nothing in my body who I'm not related to. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you're not this run of the mill regular woman who's chilling with your regular friends who gave you a Tylenol or
but you
a
know,
script for go ahead, go ahead.
I would say, but that's the problem. She ain't running the mill regular. So I would say, because running the mill regular been like, is this a Tylenol?
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah,
this a Tessin? If
yeah,
not, take it back.
yeah. I'm
Cause
because
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Who's
Mm.
and why wasn't it a pill? Why was it was like in a perfume bottle? Baby, don't put that
It
in
was
my
a
mouth
cream. I
or
was like,
something. Don't. So all in all, I'm I would like to know, and I don't know what this is going to sound like. So listeners, if it's offensive, it is what it is. But let me know, and I'll correct it. But I want to know, what is Lorraine's life like? So we understand that this show is written, and the creative team are black, they're queer, they're trans, like they run the gambit of representation. But when it comes to Lorraine specifically, what type of background does she have? Because I feel like run of the mill homegirl Keisha or Auntie Cheryl ain't doing the things that Lorraine is doing, even if they've attained money later on in life. Like, what is her background and her relationship to blackness? Even though we don't exist in a vacuum, we're different. But like, what is Lorraine's relationship with being of color? Because if I think so lowly of you that I don't think you can take over the company, why am I giving you stuff to put in my body? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, why am I so comfortable with you in a way that could make me vulnerable? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
now I agree with you. Let me say that first.
Okay.
But my thing is like, I wonder. I don't know if it's. I think that she trusts that lady as much as she possibly could, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that her not wanting her to be in part of the company has anything to do with that. I
Okay.
believe
Okay. Fair.
wholeheartedly that if that lady were black, she'd have the
Mm-hmm.
company. That's literally the only thing stopping.
No.
She said, like, she was like,
Yes.
"We ain't give no company to nobody that ain't black."
Yeah. Yes. It was
It was straight like that.
fam. fam. I
I was here
my
for it.
jaw was on the floor, and I'll say this: that line and the way that the line came out, because she was in a more suggestive mood, like she wasn't in her right mind, and the fact that it still came out so smooth, like the camera was behind, and she said, "We ain't giving this company to nobody who ain't black." I like. When have you seen that? When have you, like, to be quite honest, in TV, in movies, when have you ever heard that line or variation uttered that was not, maybe some rich white Southern family? Like, you ain't part of the family. You ain't get, like, when have you ever heard that from a black person in this context? I clapped. I said, yes, yes, Claire. However, if I'm being completely honest, I felt for Claire. Because in my mind, I'm good enough to run this company when your husband is dead, but I'm not good enough to take over. What about my credentials? Though she said you ain't black. Well, what about my credentials makes me okay to be a placeholder or a babysitter? So though I'm not a fan of Claire, I want her to try to ruin them. Because you wasted my time. You wasted my time. I could have gone to another company. I could have linked up with some Asian folks, or somebody who's going to see me as a potential, I don't know, candidate, and not just a babysitter. Oh, I hope. Now I don't want her to win, but I hope she runs the Swifts, give them a run for their freaking money. That's what I want.
Now, you're right. Now you're right.
Hey. So yeah,
like
I'm Team Lorraine. I'm Team Swift, but like I'm also kind of low key until it's time to figure out the winner. I'm Team Claire a little bit. So yeah, listeners, let us know. Like, how do you feel about that Lorraine Claire situation? Do you feel like Lorraine was wrong? I mean, you're wrong if you think that, but that's fine. Let us know. And then do you also think? Do you think that Claire? Okay, I'm gonna get off this. But my other issue, though I did just kind of back Claire a bit, my thing is, don't go looking for answers that you don't want to. Don't go ask the questions you don't want answers to. So Lorraine would have never, in my opinion, told her that outright.
Right.
But you went and drugged this woman, and now you mad because she tell you, "Oh, baby, you will never. You a pussy ass nigga could never. You would never. You just don't. You don't have the range to sit on the throne." So I still feel for Claire, but you go and play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So what you gonna do?
Won grand prize.
No, I just that's my that on that. If you got something to say, I'm stuck because I could rant on that scene all day. I don't want to do that. Yo,
now you said it. You said it. I mean,
hey, I'm saying, Claire, you know what I'm saying? I'm interested to see what happens in episode 3 because sis is sis. That's what she is. Let's talk about the Darbies and the Darby dinner. So, of course, we having a Darby dinner because we need them to come over here to butter them up at the Swift Manor so we can see if we get permission to go into their Great Wall of China ass fortress, because this industrial prison complex ass gate, that, like, what is happening over there?
Whatever rocks that they said they're digging up, they got them. They got them of us in the Fortress of Solitude because they said they don't.
You're
You shall
absolutely
not
right.
pass.
Yes, nobody, not Shazam, not Superman, like nobody's getting in here. My question is, if the Swifts are engineers and they're in STEM and that's where their money comes from, engines and whatnot, and if the Darby's money is in oil and minerals and whatnot, how do you, and I'm, this is above my pay grade, but how do you not have a legacy? Like, the way it was presented is that Chris, the asshole kid, because he's definitely 48, does not have a fortune or inheritance if his parents die. How do you not have? Is it just me, or is that?
I feel like Wait, did they say that he doesn't have like an inheritance? He's
Yes.
not gonna
Yeah, because remember when he caught Zenzi and Tom coming out of the well and they got into that kind of sort of argument, rehashing stuff. He was like, "Yeah, do you know what it feels like to be compared to Tom Swift? I don't even have a." He may not have said inheritance, but I don't have money or security. It, I know I heard it in a way where if his parents die, like his company, they're not making money in the way that the Swifts are, where he won't be well off if they're not still working. I don't know. I don't know. That's above my pay grade.
Yeah,
I don't.
this is rich people problems.
Yeah.
But,
So yeah,
if I had to guess, I would
yeah.
say it's that they probably got money, but oil, how that's whole if it is like made like oil and minerals and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
how industry works could be taking money faster than just straight up technology. Because if you making, they Tom said in the beginning of the first episode that
Yeah.
anything you got an engine, we probably made it.
Yeah.
Like, so that means you got cars, you got
Jets.
planes, trains, all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it may just be that they don't have as much money by comparison.
Well, that's clear. That's clear.
Well,
That
yeah.
is definitely clear. They are
But
trying to keep up with the Joneses.
that's kind of how I'm seeing it.
Okay, okay. I'll accept that, but I don't know why I was like, damn, I ain't got no money. Um, but yeah, getting to the dinner, so they want to talk to them. Tom wants to butter them up so that he can get over to those grounds because his dad, when he released the um I don't know, MacGuffin into 5 different parts to go to 5 different parts of the earth. One was in the backyard or the property of the Darbys. So we're at dinner and my blood is boiling at the conversations that are being had where Tom is the butt of the joke. Um,
Mhm.
there was pretty much talking about, the Swift family and how terrible this is that Barton is dead, and essentially alluding to like you not being wealthy enough or well enough, or the shortcomings of Tom being gay. And I was like, some of this shit was I hate these people. Just I'm gonna say what I hate the Darbys, and I love that I hate them. I love that for me. But how was your feeling at dinner? That shade fest.
It's just like it was good because it was some good mess, but I was
Yes,
pissed. I was like, God,
yes,
I don't like
mhm,
y'all.
at all, at
Because
all.
it's just like I said, it's that classic boot. Like that's the type of knockdown, dragging out shade that you would hear
Hmm.
on a freaking daytime soap. I'm
Yes,
talking
yeah, yeah.
like it's just like how are y'all not strangling each other right now?
Came real close. Came real close.
And it was good because that was like we knew like where this was going, and we knew that they were people
Hmm.
really dead serious to each other. But it's just
Hmm.
like, oh, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, he said he had sugar in your tank. Ha, 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 ha. I was like,
Hmm.
that's
Oh,
worse.
yeah, yeah. You want to play in my fucking face. Oh, yeah. I was very. I believe Cameron, the co-creator and writer, said that this was an episode that he wrote. And I was like, bruh, like you hit. This is what happens when you have people like, regardless of how people feel about the writing. Because I think in episode 1, a lot of the critique that I saw was like, oh, the writing this, the writing that, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, but whatever. But I think that this episode, that scene in particular, was done exceptionally well with getting a lot of feelings across that we may have had in the past. Maybe some folks still have to this day, though things are advancing with queer relations. Like overall, there are still those people that bring forth conversations like this in order to make you feel less than or try to attack a quote unquote easy target. And I love the way Tom got back with them. Like it was excessive in the sense that you want something from them. So sometimes you got to bite your tongue, but it also let them know, yeah, we see that you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. We get a new car, all of a sudden you get a new car, the same car. You have no originality. You are trying to live our life, and with Barton being gone, you accepting this dinner, though this wasn't said explicitly to me, was like, let's come over and see how down bad they are
Yep.
to reinforce our feelings of being more superior than them. Their son is gay. Their patriarch is dead. You know, they're going to fall apart at the seams. And even though, excuse me, on their worst day, they still have more money than you. And again, not to defend billionaires, but like in the context of the show, they're still at a place that you will not be, regardless to their son being gay, Barton being dead, quote unquote, and them needing your support to get this thing out your backyard. They're still better than you.
And
So,
that's what makes it so wild. There's like
mm,
we know that they're like they said it, that they are on a different level from them people.
mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm,
the thing that they are trying to poke at
yeah,
mainly because they didn't even really too much harp on Barton's death, but really poking
yeah,
at Tom's sexuality. It's like, so you were really convinced that that equals y'all out?
yeah. Hey, like, it's sad because it's sad. It is. And I want to be clear. I don't think the Swifts are better than the Darbys because they're wealthier. It's, to me, it's like, it's clear what type of people you are. You are
Mhm.
evil assholes. Like, and that is clear. The way this show has set this up, you are evil people. These folks is grieving a dead family member, and you're like, what? So I don't know, man.
It's
This,
and something I said like going back to you talking about Tom being maybe being excessive. Like something that I had
mm-hmm,
tweeted out was just like, see, this is why you have gay people that have a lot of like, well, queer people in general, that have
mm-hmm,
that quote unquote that catty personality, or that like they quick
mm-hmm.
to snap back because you're always trying it. Like
Yeah.
these people are grieving. We don't know how
Mm-hmm.
much time passed between episodes 1 and 2 for real, but
Mm-hmm.
that man, that they patriarch, that man dad died maybe a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you decide, you know what? We're gonna go over here. We're gonna talk about the time that you stole the lifeguard's drawers. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what?
Yeah.
No, you deserve
That,
it. You deserve it.
fam. That, like that, and I'm even okay with bringing that up if we have that relationship and you poking fun of me. Remember, you was a kid, you did this shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is clearly malicious. So, you know, when I I wasn't pleased with that dinner, and I was clapping for Tom, and
Hmm.
I wanted more, but I did like the Lorraine say. Truly, April Parker Jones in this episode, to me, did what she needed to do. Now, I don't think she was um this breakout star. We've seen her in other things, but I think in this episode, playing the role, dealing with the grief, being the head of the family, like, I think she did everything really well except for having that relationship with Claire. I don't. What is this about? But like with what we've got, what they gave us, I think April is really playing this well. I want to see how does she play in episode 3. Like, how much time has passed? What do you have to do in episode 3? But I thought she was stellar. That's just
Yeah,
me.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Let us take a little detour to the past. We get a flashback in this episode with Tom on the Darby estate, like visiting Chris, who's the son.
Mhm.
Um, Chris gets him in the mines beneath the Darby estate, and he says to him, I think does he put a scarf on his eyes or something? He's like, "Stay here. I'll be
Yeah.
back in 5 minutes, and don't move, and don't go be a baby and go like tell." And he like leaves him there. Now these mines have like acid. Like, what is happening? First of all, what chemical you got? Like, the government should be throwing money at you. You should have more money than the Swift. But I digress. Um, what I want to point out before even the actions of Chris is the fact that Chris in this flashback is 37 years old. Tom is 12. There is no way you're going to convince me that Chris and Tom are within 3 or 4 years of each other. Chris is a grown man. Chris is older than Barton's. Like,
He's older than Barton.
they didn't even cast two young boys. Like in the flashback, he looks older and present day. And it's not a dig on the actor, but with the casting, and I imagine those boys are supposed to be within 3 or 4 years of each other, maybe 2 or 3. Chris is an adult. Chris was an adult when we were kids. There's no way. There's no way. There's a maybe it's me, but that man looked grown. So
no, you said that. Even when the flashback first popped up, I said, "How much older than him is Chris?" Because
23 years.
If Tom was supposed to be like 12, 13, Chris was at least 19.
Mm-hmm.
He was at least 19.
Yes. Chris was grown. So, and you know, even if it's now, I'll give them this. If you're going the angle that, of course, we're wealthy, so we're in different circles. Even if Tom is, let's just say 14 and Chris is like 20, 21, because you both are in this space where just wealth is everything, you don't really have to do nothing. His argument of, do you know what it's like to be compared to Tom Swift? I get it, but I don't think that's where the show was going. I think they meant for them to be peers, and that's just not. He looks grown.
It would have made Chris's argument that much more poignant if he was actually older than Chris. I mean, if he's actually older than Tom, and he's still getting compared to him, like that would make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that's what they were going for, because now you're also saying so Zenzi is going after this 39-year-old man.
Okay, so yes, okay, so that's next. So he leaves him there, and what's mentioned earlier in the episode is that Zenzi's making fun of him about how he shaved off an eyebrow, but we find out in this instance that that's not what happened. That acid got on his face, burned his eyebrow off, whatever. While Tom is having this traumatic flashback and he's in the mine, Isaac and Zenzi are above ground having a conversation. I'm very confused. Does Isaac have a thing? Like, I ship them, but like, does Isaac have a thing for Zenzi? Because his concern over why is she dealing with this type of guy didn't feel protective. Like, that's my homegirl. I want to make sure she's safe. It felt like, why you with him when you could be with a motherfucker like me? So, or
I agree.
Okay.
I know. Okay. I was just I guess we just gonna be we just okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like
yes.
We just go for everything.
Hey,
I'm
I mean, same. I am too. I want, give me some poly, give me some love drama. I will say another thing that made me feel that way is that Zenzi mentioned and this was on I don't know how we missed this in the beginning of the episode, where she mentions, hey, Isaac said, he had a ex-girlfriend. I thought he was gay. And Tom was like, well, he's pan. He like a little bit of whatever. And she was like, well, I wouldn't be with a man who likes Tom Swift. And it wasn't malicious. It was just like, oh no, man, I wouldn't mess with anybody who messed with you. But I don't know, whatever. Is that gonna be a problem in the future? Because they like to argue. Them girls like to tussle. So like,
I know how y'all like stuff.
Hey, is Isaac gonna be?
I mean,
the issue.
I will say this. Like, I remember reading some like the promo stuff, and then people talked about a love hexagon. So yes. I think that we're seeing the seeds being planted for that. Like, it's gonna be some ass.
It's gonna break me because I love everybody on this show. It's gonna break me when we get Tom, Rowan, Isaac, Zenzi, maybe Chris on the outskirts, like love shape, ever changing shape. Oh, Justin, I forgot about him. It's a mess. So what I gather from that scene is that how I think that Isaac maybe either has a thing for Zenzi or maybe doesn't realize, or even if I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say that was just him being concerned, because in that conversation, Isaac said, you shouldn't have to wait for someone. It was, what did he say verbatim? I
Oh,
forget.
uh,
But she flipped it and was like what you're doing with Tom,
mm,
like called him out on his shit too. Like, okay, we can talk about me and Chris and the men I date, but Isaac, what's going on? You the
yeah.
bodyguard and you into this motherfucker like it's Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner. So what's really happening? What are we, what are we doing? I call you out. Um, this made me think. I think Isaac was hired the maybe the month that Zenzi left. If she's been in Atlanta for a year and she's known Tom since they were children,
Mhm.
and she is just like learning these things about him, it feels like he just came around like recently. So not that that matters, but I was like trying to track their relationship, because if we have this will they won't they bodyguard
I
client
don't
sort of thing, and
know if
why
I got
doesn't
that.
Lorraine have a bodyguard? Yeah, so
I
all
don't
right.
know if I got that. I mean, got the thing that Isaac is new. I felt like he had been
Okay,
there for a while. That was kind of how I
okay,
understood. Um,
okay.
I'm thinking about this. I don't really have anything to back that up. It's just what I guess.
Oh no, yeah, yeah. Your feelings is the receipts. Okay, cool, cool. I I'll say this. I think either the show didn't execute this well or they executed it too well. This issue with Zenzi, not with her being poor, because I can accept that she grew up in this world, but with her parents having money issues and whatever else, like she got the assistance from the Swift, so I'm fine with that. But her dating men who, what did she say, made her feel like she belonged because they were, assholes or not great people, but they were of this world. That to me was kind of, if it felt like you didn't earn that as a show. And maybe I'm wrong, but we've only ever seen her with Chris. Like, of course, she flirted with the congressman, but to make a bold statement like that, like the men I date or I've dealt with are assholes of this world, and I want to feel like I belong. But you have belonged. Your parents just happened to die. Like, you were wealthy,
Mm,
and Barton took you in and funded your education. Even if you want to consider that a handout, you were still in this world. So I don't know. And not to say her feelings aren't valid, but I just felt like throwing that extra issue with love thing and making it be like, oh, I want to feel like I belong when I'm with them. That didn't
okay.
feel earned to me.
I can rock with it. I like it as
Mm-hmm.
far as the backstory. Like I
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
them bringing that up, but I can feel what you mean. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm with it, but maybe this should have came like episode 5.
Yeah, because they mentioned a guy, and I think his name was Marcus, but it was like a throwaway line. It was like one line where they were like, "Yeah, like with so and so or something,"
Yeah.
and I was like, I feel like they are. This is an issue for me. Not enough to make me stop watching, of course, but
Mhm.
I was like, this isn't paying off. This isn't doing so. Maybe I need to go back and watch episode 1 and 2 back to back in like
Mm.
together. But I didn't think that was earned.
Yeah.
Listeners, let me know if I'm wrong, and you're like, yeah, of course they mentioned this. At 15 minutes in, I don't remember that, but let me know. Let me know. Um, Zenzi, they almost pulled a Black Lightning, and I was really going to be pissed. In Black Lightning, Anissa would have a afro, and then she would transform into her uniform and had this long ponytail. And there was no explanation as to how you went into a phone booth and came out and your hair was completely different down your back. So I was about to get on their head. But when Tom's cord got stuck and he needed assistance getting into the cave, Zenzi went into the truck, did her little change, and they commented on what. So you got a wig? Like what? And she said, "Yeah, this is Camille. I wasn't about to get my hair messed up." So I appreciate this show for that, because I was really, as much as I love Black aesthetics, like in the world of the show, you got to make this make sense. So
Yeah, I think I tweeted that. I was like, "Where'd she get this hair from?" And then
yes,
afterwards, I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yes. So Camille, it is. I like that. I thought that was a great addition, and I'm glad they explained it, or else I would have been pissed. Um, Lino, can we talk about Lino? We don't talk about Lino. No, no, no. We. I have to go back. I'm going to say all this with the caveat that I may have to return to episode 1, but I have very clear memories of Lino being a cousin. Didn't we discuss that like at length? That Lino is a cousin? I know I'm
Yeah,
not wrong.
you're not.
So for now for him to be an adopted brother, that would explain his mixed raceness, which that's not an issue. But I do know episode 1, I was under the impression that he was a cousin. I will say Zenzi did say something about, your brother something, but I was like, oh, maybe they just didn't change it in the script. But then Tom said out his mouth that Lino was his adopted brother. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, was he once the cousin and then they maybe didn't change everything? Or maybe I just need to go, but I wouldn't pull that out of thin air.
No, he was definitely the cousin.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't, because I heard that too, and I was like, so I don't know if what they're trying to do is this like, he a cousin, but he's our son now, so
yeah,
he might as well be the brother. I don't know if that's what they're trying to do, and I'm going to hope that that's what they're actually trying to do, and it's not just like a carryover from a script change.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be watching that. And listeners, y'all let me know because I'm very sure that we heard cousin. This ain't no Mandela effect. We heard cousin. And I'm not mad at it either way. I just want the continuity right. I just want to know I have my lore correct. So that was an issue. But I will say I do like that character and I do want to see more from him. And once we nail down if he's a cousin or brother, what that is, I would like to know a little bit more backstory on how he came to be. If he's adopted, how, in what way, and why do we have him? If he's a cousin, why do we have him? And so I'm okay. I'm okay with Lino. I want something to be clear. Okay, Lino, adopted brother. We touched on Claire being in love. Let's get to your friend Rowan. How do we feel about Rowan? Rowan in this
feel good about Rowan. I always feel good about Rowan.
Okay. I liked him in this episode. He didn't have a lot to do, but I loved when he came on screen. Though I am Team Isaac, I'm also Team Rowan, but I'm Team Isaac. So, but if Tom ended up with Rowan, I will not be disappointed. But I like that when Rowan shows up and Tom and Isaac are in the room, that's when, to me, it's very apparent that Isaac is dealing with something. And I love that because he's a threat. It's like you don't speak up and you let the next man come in and I don't know what to tell you.
You got to fight for your spot.
Hey, look. So I'm with it. Rowan, much like with my feelings about Claire, Rowan, I ain't room for you 100%, but I'm room for you 99.8%. Because Isaac, I'm Team Isaac. You gotta step it up. But yeah, you enjoyed Rowan this episode?
Of course. Like I said, there wasn't much, but I feel like I do think that they're planting the seeds for him to, he's working with the congressman, so he's working with the villain or whatever, what have you. But I think that was at the beginning of this episode where they was like, or maybe the end of the last one, where they was doing this thing like, you got to be dedicated to the mission. Like, are you prepared to do, whatever it takes? And he gonna betray them. We know that. We see it coming.
Yeah,
I'm just hoping that it happens before he's too gone.
Oh, with this,
So
oh, see, I don't know. Like, that's what I like about this show is, reading through comics and getting comics like over my entire life. A lot of stuff I can see coming. I know, oh, you're pulling from this storyline,
mhm,
this storyline. Tom Swift, however predictable it may be to some, is still a brand
mhm,
new property with no
yep,
lore past, of course, the like inventions. But this is the I'll say the bones are Tom Swift, the American classic. The details, the
yeah,
flesh are like there's no
yeah,
rhyme or reason. There's nothing you can map if you ain't in the writer's room. You can't say
you
this is
know,
going to be this, that, and the third.
mm,
So that's what I love because they could make Rowan, kill somebody,
what?
or they could make him be the love interest, for season 1 and 2. But I in the fact that this is happening with the show again, it's black AF. And that's what I
Mhm,
like about it. I like that aspect with any show, but with this being a black show, kudos to
yeah.
them. Um, you mentioned on Twitter, well, I asked, how does everyone feel about these arguments that Tom and Zenzi tend to have in every freaking episode? And I'd like to ask you, because as you said, ask me about it on the recording. How do you feel about these constant arguments, these 5 minutes arguments between Tom and Zenzi?
Stop in the name of love before you break my heart. Like,
Hey.
to be fair, this one was more, yeah, I'm gonna say it, more logical. This one made more sense. Like, I get, why y'all clashing here,
Mm-hmm,
but at the
mm-hmm,
same time, I'm like, I feel like, I'm over it because the one
mm-hmm.
from the last episode, I was like, where does this come from? Why are we doing this? What's happening?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, if this had been the first one, I'd have been cool with it.
Mm-hmm,
But I'm
mm-hmm.
just like, please do not have these people arguing every episode because they have great chemistry. Like, they
Yes.
work well together. Do not make me be irritated when they're on screen together. Like, don't do
Please.
this. Please don't.
Yeah. Uh,
Like,
uh,
like the one in this episode made sense. So I was
mm-hmm,
cool, but it's really just the fact that that first one happened, and I was just
mm-hmm.
like, felt like it was so out of left field. I was like,
Yeah.
now I'm like, don't argue no more. I don't want to see it no
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me like 4 episodes. Like, give me a buffer because this is, and I get the bickering of like old friends and whatnot. And I don't like, even with learning Zenzi's backstory, I don't feel like Tom is being malicious, even when they're bickering, when they're arguing. One thing that I don't know that I like 100% is, I don't know. I get okay. This is a um not sitcom. This is a show with a certain amount of episodes, and it has a continuity. But this comment that Tom made about, I knew my dad paid for your school and whatever, and I didn't want you to feel less than and this and that. I like that, but I feel like why did that come right after her and Isaac had this conversation? Like I feel like that should have came in a later episode so
Yeah.
that I get making it contain where like it was mentioned Chekhov's gun, it was mentioned here and it's mentioned again here. But I was like, I don't know, this feels I don't know. I don't
It
know that I
was
like
one of
that.
those things of it was one of those things of convenience. Just like
Mm-hmm.
because something that kind of made me raise an eyebrow was when Isaac just automatically jumped like, I bet that was this
Yeah.
happened when y'all in this thing. I bet
Yeah.
that he hacked the system then. I was like, how would you know that?
Yo. Yo, yes,
Huh?
yes.
Like,
Uh,
how did you know that?
I'm
Like,
going to accept what they give us, but I'm with you, especially at that. Yes,
I was like, okay,
but
that was real convenient, but okay, we'll move on
yeah,
past that.
I will let it go. I mean, I'm an Isaac Stan, so not too much, but no, but yes, no. I feel the same way, and I know that this is CW, so you can expect a bit of that. Well, with TV, period, but
Yeah,
that was different.
yeah.
So Tom and Zenzi arguing. We go to that. Uh, Rowan delivering the congressman's personalized invitation to dinner to Zenzi. What are we thinking about that piece of the
I thought,
episode.
I thought it was gonna blow up. To be honest, I thought it was gonna blow up.
Yo,
I was like,
yo,
back.
yo, you are not wrong.
But like, I thought that at first, but like going through when I watched it the second time,
Mhm,
and I remember that he had brought an invitation to Lorraine too. I was like,
yeah,
oh, okay, this is gonna be some big like gala type deal. It's gonna get all of my opposition in one room, and then I'm gonna blow them
yeah. No, yeah, do that. Ugh. I, I liked it, but I
up.
didn't like it because of Zenzi, because of the conversations we're having about her tasting men.
Mhm.
Which, even if we're going to lean into the I'm with these men who are wealthy because it makes me feel like I belong, the congressman, in my opinion, well, the way I perceive him, isn't like this wealthy billionaire. He's just a politician who maybe is middle class or maybe has a little bit of money. But I don't know. That's, for me, I don't see him as in the same maybe tax bracket as everyone else. But I could be wrong.
No, I don't think you are. And she know that he evil. I
I
just
mean,
realized that.
Zinzi,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Now that's where I can say, okay, you have terrible taste in me. um, and this, you ain't report back to Tom like I got an invitation too, so I got to act like I'm. She was like, oh, I've never got this before. I was like, girl, relax. Like, you, please relax. I'm Team Zizzy all day,
stand
but
up.
ma'am, calm down. This white man is going to kill you and every single person who gets in the rollback's way. So
I'm
let's
telling you.
let's relax. This what was that? That's not all I had, is it? Darby's, Chris. It was something else, and I'm forgetting. This is going to make me mad. I don't know, but yeah. So
I
any
was just, yeah, I got a couple of things.
okay,
So, don't hate me,
okay.
but when Tom and Chris had that sort of like conversation, like at the
Mm,
end, where they kind
mm-hmm,
of like made up, whatever, what have you,
mm-hmm.
and Tom was like, or maybe you can get on your knees so that I get some kind of pleasure out of this meeting.
Yes.
I kind of thought about, like, I wouldn't be mad at that. I was like, yes, Chris is an ass, 49
Yeah.
years old, but I was like,
I mean, he not ugly. I'll say
I
that. Hey, he might be older, but he's not ugly. No.
mean, that's fine. That's fine.
that that made me laugh. It did. The way Tien delivers some of these lines, I'm like, you cannot hold a straight face. Like, even with the Darby dinner and with that's some acting. Because ain't no way. I'd have been on the floor like, hey, look, this is hilarious. Um,
I was,
in that scene, yeah,
mhm.
you go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Because I was going
What
to say
you?
something. Go ahead.
No. But in that scene when I was going to have an issue with what he said. Like, this is the point where the bully comes out as queer about whatever. But then when he followed up with that line, because I was like, I know y'all not about to act like, but then I was like, okay, yeah, because everybody, I get what they were doing, but everybody who's homophobic don't mean that they're gay. Sometimes they're just fucking assholes. So when he followed up with that line, I was like, okay, I get what they're saying. So yeah, yes, give him a reason to be pleased. So so
Because
yeah,
now that would have pissed me off.
yeah,
If it
absolutely.
come out like that, oh yeah, Chris is secretly gay. I'd have been tweeting like, now y'all wrong. Y'all should have
Mm-hmm,
did that.
mm-hmm,
But so
yeah,
I'm very glad they didn't do that.
mm-hmm,
What I was going to say, building off of you talking about Tina's lines, that's for
mm-hmm.
me. That's a big part of why I feel like I enjoyed this episode more than the first,
Okay.
um, because like it felt more like the character that we were introduced to in that Nancy Drew like backdoor
Yes,
pilot.
yes.
And again, like I understand that he was grieving the first episode, so I didn't necessarily, I understand that he wasn't, quippy or whatever. But in this episode, like he felt more like the lead of a show. Like this my
Okay.
world, and this y'all just living in it.
Okay. I get that.
And what's interesting to me is that I actually saw some people not like that. They felt like that made Tom, Tom Swift as a character, like abrasive or what have you. The fact that he was just like real quippy and like getting to people. I was gonna ask you how you felt about that, but I think that your
Spider-Man, bro, Peter Parker, Spider-Man be saying random ass one lines all like antagonizing his villains all the time. Like, why would this be any different? Is it because he's gay and he's using gay lingo? I don't want to pull the gay card, but like, what is it that he's doing that's different from like every comic book hero, like who has something smart to say? Like Peter Parker is the first one that comes to mind. I know there's more, but him and Deadpool's a little extreme, but they both are like that. So what? Okay, and gays are like that, like clever and got the tongue. I don't know what the whatever the saying is, but they got words for you. They can do that.
Yeah, so, no, I agree with for people. I agree, but I was just wondering. I was wondering like if that was just like if that's just me like not seeing, like, oh, this is actually an issue. But like, no, I love it.
Well, it's us then. It's us not seeing it because I'm like it's true. It's true to form. And like a wealthy black gay only child with nothing but money at his disposal and like confidence, yes, this man is going to like, us poor folks. Still, we giving the same energy in our H&M fit. So if he got a ball main OnlyFans, yeah. So that's a weird critique. Okay.
I thought so too, but I wanted to bring it up to see was it just me?
No, that's silly. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. I think those were the only two things that kind of like hopped out at me. But yeah, I thought that this one really it gave us the first one gave us like the overarching thing of like what's happening. But I think this one gave us kind of more insight into the individual characters, particularly like Tom and even Claire, like stuff with moving forward. So I really like that, and I hope that now that we have this solid foundation, that we can get through it to see like what's going to happen in the coming episodes.
Absolutely, yeah. That's my hope too, because I think I read somewhere this season is only 10 episodes, spanning over 13 weeks. So I know we're going to have like a mid-season break maybe or something in there, or maybe there's a holiday. I don't know. But I'm excited.
When is the 4th? Because that may be.
Oh yeah, that might be it. Oh yeah, well, it's a Monday, but I can see them taking. I don't know, whatever. I can see them taking it off because most people. I don't know, perhaps, but I'm looking forward to everything that we get this season, even with like all the shit talking I have for Claire. I want to see how her story goes, mainly because when you get a lot of interracial relationships, and not to say there's going to be a relationship, but this thing, quote unquote, she has with Lorraine or for Lorraine, that is a pairing that I would be interested to see how does this develop, if it's if it develops at all. But if we're going to go the interracial route, I do appreciate the fact that it is not just white and like that's what I like, so hey, if Claire gotta get down with the get down and do the swirl, it's a different combination. Like I don't even have to see black and when it comes to interracial. I'm just tired of seeing the default being white and when it comes to interracial. Give me a Japanese woman with a Jamaican man, or I don't like. Give me something. A Hispanic guy with a I don't know what's Moana, whatever they're Polynesian.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Polynesian.
Yeah, give me something.
And that makes me think, like, going back to just Tom in general. Like, I remember when the show was first announced, I was definitely one of the people be like, get him a black boyfriend. Make sure he has a black boyfriend. Like, and one of them times I tweeted that out, somebody responded to me. It was like, oh, they have a casting call for this love interest, and they said it's looking for white, or it's open to somebody white or whatever. I was like, casting call, fine, rewrite it, whatever. Looking at what we've gotten over just these first couple of episodes, I'm literally like, I wonder did y'all listen? Please have listened. Please have listened.
Come on, because we got varying shades, body types, identities, and all black. So I'm with it. You brought up a memory that I don't know if it's going to be addressed or not. So canonically, Tom Swift, I think, is a few years ahead of Nancy Drew, because when he appeared last year in Nancy Drew to get the whatever that was in Horseshoe Bay, that was to get to create the spaceship to send his father to space. So we're ahead in time. But when they mentioned the Tubman Society or the Tubman Social Group, there was mention of a girl, a woman who Tom was supposed to go to that Tubman Society ball with. And it was set up or presented like she was supposed to be appearing with him or a quote unquote girlfriend. So I don't know if they're just excusing it as between that time and the pilot of Tom Swift proper, the dad found out he was gay, or if they are completely just ignoring that girl. And I have to go back and listen to or watch that episode again. But they mentioned a girl, a woman who was supposed to be his date. So I'm like, will she pop up?
So at the end of the Tom Swift, at the end of the Nancy Drew episode, he had that kiss with the only other black person on the show, and they that was his,
yes,
that was his coming out moment. I remember that, and something happened. Like, I remember watching when I rewatched the pilot, they said something about something like a couple months ago when I went and got this thing, or like some months ago when I started working with this fuel. They said something that told me that I was like, oh, okay, so some time has passed between the Nancy Drew episode and now. And then it jumped ahead another 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
That Barton had been like in space or what have you. So I don't know, because I don't follow Nancy Drew, so I don't know if they've had like another season since that backdoor pilot, or if they're trying to like link it up so that by the time that they do like Nancy Drew, whatever season, whatever, they'll be on the same time.
Yeah, something's going on there. But you're right. I do remember them kissing and putting it on Instagram and him being out. But I don't know, just something about the mention of that girl. I want her to show up and shake some stuff up. I think she had an old name like Thelma. I don't know if it was that, but I feel like she had an older name. So I want her to show up and act the fool. So
come on through, Bernadette.
I gave you 7 years of my life. 7 years, Charles. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, it looks like we have quite a few comments. Hey, okay. Well,
hello, people.
Clear work a job for 10 years and still can't get a promotion because of politics. Relatable. Hey, I mean, you're right. So, it happens. I don't know. Very often. I saw a tweet if Claire had a thing with Rhayne. I was like, hell no. Then I was looking like foolish by the end. See, Andre? Yes. I knew Claire was. It's something about the vibes she was giving off. I was like, yeah, she's LGBT. Your father could be LGBTQ. Claire could be LGBTQ.
Andre, I was with you because I didn't get it until it was happening. So
see, I was I knew it. And I'll say this, though I did get some early access to the first episode to do the why everyone should be watching Tom Swift article. Like, I've seen nothing else. And so for me, it was like, yeah, no, this is instinct. Maybe there is a such thing as the gaydar, like a real, and my frequency was tuned to lesbians instead. But some kind of way, I knew it. Claire didn't seem a bit perturbed by being denied the permanent position, so she clearly has something else at play. See, that's interesting. That's not how I took it. Maybe I need to rewatch. But I guess they didn't linger on Claire afterwards. But maybe I'm just projecting that I would be upset.
I, I don't know. I feel like she was. I don't know. Maybe it is projection because I'm sitting here in my mind. I was like, why would she not be upset? But
Yeah, hey, me. So if you're seeing something I did, I'm gonna rewatch episode 2 and specifically the ending because maybe there is. I mean, I feel like there's something else that played the fact that you drugging this woman to get her to sign over papers. But I wonder.
Did you get that she did it on purpose?
Oh, absolutely. For me, when she said there's something I can find something at the office, that conversation came after Lorraine was like, yeah, Tom messing up, but this is his company. I can't support you in that way. And so the fact that you brought up now a drug, I was like, oh no, something, this ain't right. But I watched a lot of true crime. I love mysteries, so maybe I'm just conditioned to see things. But I knew
like,
something. And
like even to the point where it was gonna make her like suggestible, like they said.
See, I thought she was going to drug Lorraine and then forge her signature in some kind of way, maybe record it. I didn't really go so far as to be like the suggestion corrupts you thing, but we're also dealing with a science fiction show where tech and science is like a huge part of it. So I didn't jump to that level, but I knew she was going to do something to Lorraine, maybe get her on camera saying something, or I don't know, but I knew she was going to do something.
Okay.
Ooh, pissed me off. Claire left having her own. This book, because Claire,
That's
the actress
right.
Brittany, she was on Runaways, and I don't know how to pronounce her last name, so that's why I'm just calling her Brittany. But Andre says Claire left having her own company on Runaways to be a parched lackey for Tom Swift.
I knew I recognized that woman from somewhere. Surely is. Oh, she surely is.
God, she can't stop being evil.
She can't.
You better stop getting typecast. Lord Jesus.
Staff one, we good.
Hey, is she? And another thing I'll say is I do like having. Oh, how do I say this? I don't intend this to sound like problematic. If it does, I'm sorry. But I like having all of these Asian women we've been getting. Because for me growing up, we know that TV was dominated by white faces and there were token spaces for other POC. But being in America and consuming a lot of American media, when you did get other people, they were really regulated to like stereotypes. And then when you got people, because with POC, we have a tendency to look like each other in some instances. You can have like I have family members who are light skinned who look like they could pass for white. I also have light skinned family members and friends and whatnot who may look, I don't know, more in line with Hispanics. You know, or it's like there's such a varying degree of what looks like what. And then over the years of course, mixing races and different people getting a little bit more spotlight, it's like in plastic surgery and whatnot, let's call it spade a spade. A lot of people can pass for other things and not even like intentionally. So when we get Brittany, Claire, and then we get something like Crazy Rich Asians, and then we get what's homegirl, Colleen Wing. What is that actress's name?
I don't know her real name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, but we get Colleen. Like, so what I'm saying is, and then even Daisy, who is, I think she's, I don't know, I think she's Chinese and white. I think that's what her mix is. I may be wrong, but what I'm saying is, there is a certain stereotype that has been constantly kind of pushed the image of Asian people, because a lot of times in American media it's black and it's white. Yeah. And that's what you get. Even when it's problematic depictions of black folks or token black folks, it's still black and white. You don't get a whole, and then when you get like this very over the top yellow face, white person in makeup. So all in all, I'm just happy that we're getting this representation even more, and it's spilling over into this very black ass show. So kudos to Claire and Brittany for that. But like, I'm watching you, girl. Andre says, I would like Tom to make a special position for Claire when he takes over. I think he'd recognize what she has to offer and want to try something new versus tradition going forward. I like, okay, if this was episode 1, I'd say I like that. But this is episode 2, and I want Claire to burn. So I like what you're saying, but she has to go on a redemption arc for me to care about her, because I'm not a fan. I don't like her. She can get out of here with all that. What else we got? Andre says, I think the Darbys just don't have a legacy, excuse me, in the sense that he hasn't contributed furthering their legacy like Tom has. Okay, I can rock with that. But then I don't know, because at the end of that conversation, Tom said to Chris, when they like made up, he was like, I'll make a special position for you so that, because Chris mentioned how Tom has legacy or money for life or prestige or something. And so Tom, including Chris and his company in that legacy, assures that as long as Swift is successful, Darby will be as well. Because he was like, we can break this cycle our parents have pit us against each other. So I get what you're saying, but I don't go ahead.
I feel like that kind of connects to what they're saying though, because the way I'm reading this, and I could be wrong, the way I'm reading this is basically like Tom is still doing stuff. Like he made the fuel that got the ship to space in the first place. Whereas Chris might not be doing as much as Tom is. So like Tom is constantly contributing. And Tom had to bring Chris in so that he has a legacy that says that Chris ain't doing that.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, okay. And then and I'll even say I understand what you're saying, and I agree, because even if your family's money is in minerals and oil, if that's it, like that's still a big deal. But like if that's it, when we got solar cars and stuff, like really, what are you? So I'm y'all got me there. I'm back. Yeah. I'm with it. Ooh, let's see. He says, I think Chris doesn't have a legacy, means he hasn't furthered their foothold in the legacy in the way Tom. Okay, yep. Y'all got me. The Dusty Darbys are probably worth 9 figures versus Swifts or 10 or 12 figures. Okay. I think the gap may be a little bit wider than that, but I think you may be right. This. Andre says, can we talk about how Lorraine didn't step in and shut them down when the shit got stirred? Classic older generation. Oh, okay. M. Haynes. Yeah. So you sit there and let them. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, like, oh, you needed something from them, but she didn't know what Tom needed. Lorraine didn't know, so I can't even give you that. Like,
well, she knew they needed something. Tom told her something about some mineral that he wanted to use.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. My bad.
Yeah.
But Lorraine, I know you grieving, but baby, like that's your one and only. You know,
listen,
you gotta stand up for your rights. You gotta because that's your baby boy. You gotta talk shit. Yeah.
Listen, because the way my mom would have cut up.
Hey,
listen,
we
not been going there at that table.
See, and my thing is, if we're looking at the continuity of the show, Tom is not like his father, like personality wise. So he had to have got this wit from somewhere. And I know, queers and marginalized people develop their defense mechanisms over time, but like, You mean to tell me he ain't getting none of that from Lorraine? She ain't got a little city girl in there. She ain't got nothing. Like, Lorraine, what's going on? Carisha, please.
I feel like it goes back to what you were saying earlier about like the different thing of like image. Like she's putting on like we got to be put together and we have to be good hosts to the people. So she probably could have done that, but she wasn't going to do that because we got to put on a good face for the good people.
Yeah, I get that, but and she probably is more mature than I because I'm cutting up, but she's also in a world that I don't exist in, so perhaps that is something. Because whenever you see wealthy people, be it just like Mean Girls level, where they're just the more successful high school students, or some like Game of Thrones type stuff, you do always get those shady, catty instances where even if we go back and forth, it's very much dynasty. It's very much like, oh, this champagne is burnt. It's very much like, so I ain't trying to give her too much, but I am like, you could have stepped in and said something.
I agree.
So, I don't know. Andre says, you can't convince me Chris doesn't have a baby somewhere. The Darbys are either paying a secret child support for visits to the clinic. Oh, now hold up. Wait a minute now. I mean, yeah, but like, where's this coming from? Wait, are you saying because it like what? Hold up, because I'm with you. I'm sure there's something, but are you saying it's because like there's secrets and that's his versus Tom's being that he's gay? Like, what is this? Or is it that he's like 41 and so he has a child but no legacy? Like because Chris is an adult. Chris was my teacher when I was in 7th grade. So, what are we saying? Like, I'm with you, but yeah. Let's see. You says the Darbys are literally toxic, and that's why the land is poison. And the Darbys' land was not beautiful. So, okay, in the context of like being in the show and presenting certain families, you see the Swift Manor, you see their grounds, they're like perfectly manicured, big house, beautiful rooms and whatnot. The Darbys' fence was like, it looked like a prison. I'm like, what is this? What is this? What is this? Like it was very bad. And I know you shooting on different locations, so their acres could have just been like a forest in Atlanta or something. I don't know where they shot this, but nothing about the Darbys' property looked like they went out of the way to make it beautiful. Like there were no manicured shrubs and like cobble pathway. It was like, what Blair Witch Project ass backyard is this? What is this? So I get off my property.
You should tell that to the raccoons that's over there. I'm willing to let it go because of where they get their money from. Because if your money is in oil and oil and minerals, and you digging this up, you got mines behind your houses. I could see you being like, well, we're not going to spend thousands of dollars on lawn care if we digging up the lawn.
I don't know. I'm going to accept that. I feel like if you keeping up with the Joneses to the point where you buying a car that they bought, you gotta give me a better looking fence.
Now I 1,000% agree on that fence because that fence was raggedy.
Yeah,
that fence was raggedy.
That was a prison in like a post-apocalyptic world. That was terrible. My God. Let's see. Any situation involving Isaac feels sexually charged. Not too much, Andre. Like, I appreciate you for supporting the show, but don't not too much on my Isaac. But you're right. You're right. I'm the one to give it to you. Don't you, man? So trying to make you understand. But no, you're right. I do. I like the softness that Isaac gives off at times, and it's not that you gotta run around being this angry, muscle bound like killer of a bodyguard, but he's very I don't know, maybe it's with Tom or maybe it's just the way Marquise acts, but there are certain moments where like he was what did he say, like you before Tom went into the well, and he said something like, oh, you got to be safe or something, and I was like, oh, like I don't know something about Isaac. I'm like, he does it for me. So there's that. Let's move on because I could talk about that for hours. The Tom Swift writers love chaos and they love mess and are dedicated all for. You are absolutely right. These people are terrorists. They are terrorists, and I am for it. Like, who we? Tom and Isaac saw each other and decided the word body had to be involved in their relationship. Yeah, they. I need some backstory on them because that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not to say that Isaac isn't capable, but I'm sure there were like other bodyguard options. And so the fact that you chose this one, because ain't no way your mama and daddy hired, well, maybe your mama did, but your daddy ain't hired this man for you.
Right.
I want some flashback.
Yeah.
I want an episode about that. That I'll say that. Andre says maybe Zenzi meant she wants a lasting connection to the affluent sphere of her own, marrying into it versus something that could be given and potentially taken away. Okay. I'm with that. I promise you I am. And I don't want to sound like Kevin Samuels, but I'm like, choose better men. Like, because this Chris is horrible. I'm sorry, and I do not support him at all. Both Chris or Kevin, but like Zenzi, come on, baby, come on. And like, if they get more to this, maybe an issue of yes, you do come from money, but you don't have money, so we, the wealthy, don't see you as a viable love interest. So if you are flipping it on his head that way, where yes, I do need to attach myself to a wealthy man, even if he's an asshole. Then I'm more willing to go with that. But to me, that hasn't been presented to us. We didn't even know she didn't come from money or didn't have money until this episode. So I don't know. I feel like Zenzi, give me a season with her in Atlanta that year before. That's what I want. Like, I love Tom Swift, but like, give me that. If it's the 5-episode limited series, if it's a web series, like, give me Zenzi in Atlanta. That's what I want. Go to, I don't know, Tracks, Bulldog, something. Hang out with your gay besties in Atlanta.
I'm weak.
Date, I don't know. But yeah. Let's see. He could be a cousin who was adopted. Lots of people adopt within the family. Yeah, this is true. This is true. And you even have play cousins. But I still would like to know where this cousin came from. This cousin brother. Let's see what's on here. Okay, he says, my cousin was adopted by my great-grandparents. Those were her grandparents, and exclusively calls them her parents, even though we know my aunt is her mom, too. Yeah, that's blended families. That happens. So I get that. Rowan showed up to flirt and create drama, then leave. You know what? I love it.
That's what we do.
Drop off the chaos, out the door.
We come, we bucks it up, and we leave.
Yes. So I'm with it. The congressman isn't wealthy. That's why he stayed hitting the Swift stuff on PayPal. Now, I think that's true. However, because he's part of the, what is it? The way back, the stone back. What is it? The look back,
rollback.
The rollback. Because he's part of them, and to me, they give off Illuminati type vibes. I agree that he isn't wealthy, but I think his association with that group, to me, it seems like you would have maybe some secret wealth. But I do agree that he's not presented as a wealthy person. You don't think so?
They go hand in hand, but I think it's more so a power thing.
Okay.
I mean, wealth and power go hand in hand, but
yeah,
I feel like it's more so like you got influence if you're a part of this organization.
Okay. I'll take that. So yeah, maybe he don't got that secret money. Andre says Chris, the actor, and his dad were both handsome. Now, you can say a lot about the Darbys, but you cannot say they ugly. I'm sorry. That's what the UK say. Because
you operate in the facts.
Mr. Darby, I mean, yeah. So like I said, you could say a lot of things. The casting director for Tom Swift, you understood the assignment. It was given what it was supposed to have gave. Everybody on this show, chef's kiss. So no, you're right, Chris. Yeah, they both was definitely some good looking folks. Oh shoot, hold up. Okay, wait a minute. What is this? What is this? Side note: Justin and Lino were absent while the light skin erasure. Justice for light skinned folks. Yes, you're right. Stand up for them folks. Stand up for them. Right? They were.
I ain't got no water to drink. I can't
Hey, hey, they were. That's what y'all doing. A fool. No. You're right. You're right. Lorraine was the closest. Like that was it. Oh, but hopefully Lino will be back next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm so glad they didn't do the homophobic equals closeted trope. I hate when people say that, even when gay people say it. Yeah, and it's true. It happens. There are some homophobic people who are secretly gay, or maybe don't even understand or realize that they're gay. But that's not the default.
Exactly.
If I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I just don't like that. I don't like that. Let's see. There's a whole scene about why he has to clap back. Detractors just ain't paying attention. Hey,
That's
come
that's
on.
it.
Come on. Andre also says the CW will find a reason to give us a hiatus. I know. Hey, I came into the CW a little bit late. I came in with Riverdale, and that first season, I think maybe there was one hiatus. But once I started watching the superhero shows, I was like, why the hell? At the end of the year, do we always go on like a month and a half, 2 months? Like, what is this? So, yeah, the CW will give us a hiatus. They'll
Baby,
say
I'm at this point, I'm old hat of CW shows, baby. CW shows are going on a 3-week break because it's raining outside.
You know what? They're going to extend that season. And I'm not even mad at it, to be quite honest. As someone who reviews a lot of shows, I'm not mad. When Black Lightning would go on a break, me and Cole would put a fill-in episode, but it was something a little bit more fun, like recasting or what would you do with this season. But the CW, I've learned.
They love the break.
You tweet too much, they're gonna hold up. This is too much attention.
We need a break.
Get y'all something to talk about. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Okay. Andre says that Chloe Bennett, Daisy. Yes, that is who I was referencing. She is Asian. I don't know her racial background. I know she's like white and Asian. I just don't know what. I'm gonna sound so okay. Thank you, because I'm finna sound so terrible. I suck at this sometimes. Tom said he would make Darby Minerals a vendor for the Silk Core. Yeah, he sure did. That's what it was. So that just guaranteed money on top. So the Darbys work for the Swifts. What are the partners? Yeah, they do. They're indebted to them. I think Chris has accidental kids because he's straight and thirsty. Boy, get out. I mean, you might. You know what? And I could see that, because the way he was acting with Zenzi, I'm like, you probably pulled that "Do you know who I am" card. Yeah, I can see that. So yeah, he got his ego won't let him wear condoms. You know what? Okay, I'll pull out. Okay, let me. Much like me, Chris wants to be Tom Swift. Yeah, that is the case. And the congressman is probably in a secret society to bring influence. Look at celebrities who are connected to real power, but are here to be the face of other people's efforts, shows, music, etc. You're absolutely right. And if we learn anything from these types of shows, and then not that it really ties in, but I'll even say from Bel Air, because Phil was wealthy on his own, but he was also trying to be a politician, and his wealth, though it was a factor, it wasn't everything, because his rival, who was a cop who did not have the amount of money, was giving him a run for his money. So yeah, I think y'all are right. Y'all have changed my mind. I am interested in seeing what happens with the congressman if he gets a little bit of money, and I don't know what happens to the drama going forward. So we gonna see. Okay, let's do some favorites and favorite scenes. I guess who's your favorite of this episode?
I'm tempted to say Isaac.
Hmm.
Um, even though it was kind of convenience, I'm
Okay.
glad that he's like on it. That he's on it to be like, hey, something ain't right here.
Okay.
So yeah, it's between him and Tom, but I think I'm gonna go with Isaac because Tom is gonna have plenty of
Okay.
opportunity.
Good choice. I've gone with Isaac as well. Isaac has been my favorite this episode, and mainly because he showed up on screen. But yeah, Isaac is my favorite this week as well. I think I said Zenzi last week. Did I? I think
Yeah,
so. I don't know,
I
but
think
yeah.
we both. Yeah.
Do you have a scene that's favorite scene that comes to mind?
Oh, of course, the dinner.
Come on, that
Like,
dinner was supercharged. Um, Yikes. I want to say that ending scene. Um, with Lorraine
oh, okay.
telling Claire, why would we give the company to anyone who's not black? Like that, because I just
Okay.
something
Yeah.
about that scene is so funny to me, and not funny, not like haha funny, but funny like again. Don't go asking questions or looking for stuff that you don't want to know the answers to, because your feelings might be hurt. So I just, and the fact that Lorraine, it wasn't an argument and Lorraine just like cut it to it. Lorraine was like under the influence and was like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, so that was my favorite scene. Did we what kind of ratings do we want to do? What I don't know. One exploded spaceship, one Darby industrial prison complex fence, one smoldering Isaac look, one Rowan invitation delivery. Like what are we rating? I'll say 1 to
I was
10.
gonna say the exploded spaceships, but I feel like that's wrong.
Oh yeah. Well, how about Barclays out of 10
Okay,
Barclays?
yes, let's do
What
that.
are you rating this?
Out of 10, I'm gonna say like a 7.5
Okay. Okay, that's
because
cool.
I feel like there was some things that I kind of raised my eyebrow at,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
I think I enjoyed it more than I did that. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, 7.5. That's fair. I went 6.5. Now it's not because this I think it's bad. It's only because we have these 10 episodes, I think it could get better. So
Ah,
I don't know if this will be a 10. Like I may go back and be like, oh no, this was a 8 or this was
right,
a 4. But I
right.
think right now it's a 6.5 for me.
Okay.
Um, because I do think that they can go up. And I feel like there's gonna be an episode where I'm gonna be like, 10,
Ah,
so
got
I'm
you.
gonna do 6.5 for now.
Okay.
Look at this fool. I'm just gonna say, what did he say? I give the episode 4.5 out of 5 backup ponytail wigs. I get 8 out of 10
Oh, yes.
bedazzle masks.
But that's the OnlyFans mask.
2 out of 3 dusty Darbies. This fool. Listeners, what do you rate? How many Barclays? How many bedazzle masks? How many dusty Darbies do you rate this episode out of 10? But yeah, I'm gonna go with 6.5. I think that's fair for
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I can
Um,
see that.
Woo! This has been, I don't know. You got any closing thoughts or ideas or I don't know, something?
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Okay, bet that. Well, go ahead and let these folks know where they can find you and support you and all that other stuff.
Yes, yes, yes. You can find me pretty much on every platform under Loose as a Deuce. It's under construction, but you can also look me up at my website, mhaynes.org. And yeah, let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's have conversations, especially if you can connect me with Rowan.
Hey, when I was a kid, I was told there's only 6 degrees of separation between you and anyone else in this world. There is
Well,
a of 6 degrees between you and Rowan, and somebody need to speak up.
they do.
Yeah.
Put me on
And
grid
so
number one so I can go.
there we go. And your links will be in the show notes so that if anyone does want to connect those 6 degrees between M and Rowan, check the show notes. Oh my God. And of course, me, Carefree Blurred on Twitter, Carefree Black Nerd everywhere else. TikTok, I think is Carefree Blurred as well. Hit me up, follow me, follow this conversation. Let's make it a conversation. If you can get me in a room with Isaac, really any of the cast, they're also lovely, but Isaac in particular. Hey, Marquise. Yes. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to email carefreeblacknerd@gmail.com, if it's something specifically about Tom Swift, please have that somewhere in the subject line so I'll know what it's in reference to. And yeah, y'all, this has been fun. So come back next time and stay carefree, stay nerdy, stay geeky, and if you're secretly jealous or not so secretly jealous of your neighbors and their wealth or their things, don't be an asshole. Try to maybe be cool or just leave them alone altogether. Just don't interact. That's also a way to go, because bringing up those old embarrassing stories in someone else's expense will get you hung up. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So until next time, guys, y'all have a good one.